Welcome to the supplemental video for Unit 10. In this video, we're gonna go over creating reports, and in the process, we're gonna create two reports. One that will display a list of books, and the second one that will show a list of employees. So let's get started. So essentially, for the first one, we need to display a list of books, including that includes the following content: book type, sorted, book type, and price. So for the first step in creating the report above, let's create a query including all the required output, right? And that's going to be, so we're going to create a query, and the data that we need is going to be in the books table. Okay, and what we're going to need from there is going to be the book type, title, and price. Okay, fairly simple. So let's save this as query 1. Or just list of books, report 1. All right. Let's look at the output. Okay, so we got this, pretty much everything, all the books that are, the type and the prices. So now that we have our query created and saved, we can proceed to creating our report. So we're going to click on Create. And we're going to click on the report wizard. So let me actually okay, so now you can see it better. So we're going to use the report wizard, and I have this warning from Microsoft Windows. All right, so for the wizard, we're going to, in the first step, we're going to select the query created in step 1, which it's already selected. And then move all the available fields to the selected fields area. Okay, so I'm moving all 3 of them. And then I'm hitting next. And in this step, you'll have an option, in this case, to add grouping. So it's recommended to keep the default setting and click next. However, everyone is always welcome to, test the waters and see what are the variations of the output. So for now, it's going to be type, title, and price. Next. In this step, you have an option to add sorting, and in this case, you need to sort by the type. Okay, in the ascending order, and then hit next. So in this step, you'll have an option to select report layout option. In this case, it's recommended to use tabular and portrait due to the nature of the data and intended output. However, you're always welcome to, see and test the other layout options, create report layouts. Once the layout is selected, hit next. So you can experiment if you'd like to switch from portrait to landscape. Portrait makes sense because it's a long data set, so to speak. So there's 2 types of data sets. There's wide, where there are more columns than rows, and long, where there are more rows than columns. And this is obviously the latter case. So I'm just gonna next. And finally, in this view, you can create a title, and you can preview and finish the wizard. So we're gonna keep it list of books reports, and we're gonna select preview the report. Okay, so we got our report done. We see the output of the report, and based on the assigned instructions, if you're satisfied with the initial output and format, the report is good. However, there's also an option of adding formatting to it to your desire, which I'm not going to cover, but you're more than in this video, but you're more than welcome to experiment. Okay, so let's save this one and actually close it. All right, so the next report we're going to create is the one that will display a list of all employees, including the following content: first name, last name, job title, and hire date. Okay, so the fact that we're going to need two tables, employees and jobs, right? So we know that we need information from employees and also job title, which is in the table jobs. Telling us that this is, first of all, so they're both joined together by jobs ID, and basically you will need to create a join, right? So let's drop first name, last name, as well as job description and the hire date. One thing that we're going to specify is that the employee's name is not null. And what else? That's pretty much it. So let me save this query. So I'm going to save it as U10. List of employees report to. All right, so now that I have this, and I'm going to extend it a little bit again. Now that I have this, well, first of all, let's look at the output. Okay, so again, we have a long data, and you can potentially decide to modify it to make it a little shorter, but in our case, we don't need that. We don't. Our requirements don't tell us to do any filtering on it. So so now we're ready to create a report. So let's go ahead to the Create tab, and let's go ahead and launch the wizard. And in this case, we're gonna go through pretty much through similar steps that we went in the last report creation. So the query is pre-selected for us, so we don't need to do much here. Unless it's not selected, then we need to explicitly select it. But in our case, we just need to transfer all fields to the right to the selected field section. Hit next. Again, you're welcome to experiment and with the outline, but I'm gonna accept all default values. And in our case, we can sort by the last name. Next, I'm going to keep the tabular and portrait format. And let's... Interesting, it named the... Well, employees should be fine. And preview the report. Okay, looks good. It's a 2-page report. And again, feel free to modify it just like you modify the forms. To make a different color, different font if you feel that it will give it a more professional look. Maybe include some imagery and do any other changes. It's very much similar to how you did, how you modified the forms. Okay, and that's about it with this report. So I'm going to close it. Well, this was it. You just build the second report and report based on a single table and report based on joining two tables.